Mystery Bus!
Crime lies hidden in the puzzle, and the truth emerges through reasoning. Detective Stories of Inspector Chimp.
The Mystery of the Stolen Gold, 1.
Inspector Chimp, if there's nothing else, I'll be on my way.
Goatmeister confidently crossed his legs on the table, his gaze fixed on Inspector Chimp sitting across from him.
According to what you police officers call what's that? Oh yes, an alibi, I can't be a suspect in this case. You've got it all wrong.
That may be, but...
Inspector Chimp fixed a steely glare on Goatmeister and said,
I will find out the truth.
The day before Inspector Chimp interrogated Goatmeister, he stood in the Sylvan police station, frowning.
There have been several gold thefts recently, but we have no suspects. What's going on?
The urgent ringing of the phone interrupted Inspector Chimp's thoughts.
Inspector Chimp, come quickly! A thief has broken into my house!
Calm down, sir. Give me your address and I'll be right there.
We live on the cliffs at the edge of the forest!
Where?
On the cliff!
Inspector Chimp was suddenly left with an empty line on the other end. He had many questions, like when did the cliffs get a new resident? Still, he set off without waiting to find out what happened. It sounded important.
I'm here at last. Whew.
After an hour of hard climbing, Inspector Chimp finally reached the residence of the caller. He met the victims, a pair of eagles who were now arguing with each other.
It's your fault. You said moving to the cliff would be foolproof. Now what?
Why blame me? How could I have known somebody would break into where we live so high above everyone else?
So, hey, guys, hold on a minute. Let's talk.
Now what? We've lost our gold, that's what!
It's your fault too! You agreed to move here!
It wasn't my fault at all!
Was to!
Was not!
Was to!
Seriously, both of you. Hold on just a second. Hey, you
It's
guy,
your fault for not watching the house!
What? It's your fault for being so greedy! If we didn't have so much stuff in the first place, no one would steal it from us!
Your fault! Your fault!
Your fault! Your fault!
Hold on! Stop it! Both of you!
When Inspector Chimp shouted, the two eagles finally stopped bickering.
Oh, Inspector Chimp, you're finally here!
Mr. Eagle rushed to meet the inspector, shaking his hand so hard he nearly shook it right off.
You must help us!
That's what I'm here for. Now, first things first. Tell me what happened.
Okay. So here's what happened. We had a bag of gold bars as big as a brick. We moved it to the top of the cliff to keep it safe. Who would ever imagine that when we got home from dinner last night, the gold would be gone?
Please help us!
Inspector Chimp ignored the eagles, who covered their faces and cried when they had told the story of the stolen gold. He thought,
It can't be a coincidence that there have been so many cases of stolen gold in the city recently.
it was as if a database had opened up in Inspector Chimp's mind. Countless words and images tumbled through his mind as he thought about the common threads that ran through all the gold thefts.
In the first case, the one who reported the loss was Mr. Lark. He lives in the big sycamore tree. In the second case, it was reported by Mr. Pigeon, who lives in the church steeple. And in the third...
The clues were like dots, one after another. They began to form a vague line. Just as Inspector Chimp was about to see the full picture...
It must have been Crow! Let's go pick him up!
Then his thoughts were interrupted by an angry shout. Chest puffed out. Mr. Eagle was about to rush out, but Mrs. Eagle stopped him.
Mr. Eagle, what makes you say it's Mr. Crow?
Inspector Chimp, think about it. Our house is so high up on the cliff, the thief must be an animal that can fly. And you know Crow, he has a history of being a sneaky thief, always up to no good. It must be him again this time.
No, you can't simply accuse others without concrete evidence. Besides,
Inspector Chimp pulled out a picture of the Crow's home.
Mr. Crow and his family were also victims. Their house was robbed too.
Huh?
Don't worry, I'll get to the bottom of this.
Inspector Chimp clenched his fist. His eyes blazed with determination. It was late at night. The city was quiet. In the police station, an orange lamp still burned.
Clues. Where are the clues?
Instead of going home, Inspector Chimp was looking at several photographs under a desk lamp. It was photos of the homes of several victims.
All these homes, all birds, all living high up. Is what Mr. Eagle says true?
The thief must be an animal that can fly!
Is it right that the thief is an animal that can fly?
Inspector Chimp raised his chin. He had the feeling something was not quite right.
The culprit would need a lot of strength to carry so much gold. According to what I had originally deduced, the Eagles were the only ones strong enough to do the job. But now they've been robbed too.
One possibility after another went through Inspector Chimp's head, but he shot them all down. Suddenly, his eyes fell onto a photo of the Eagles' home that had been taken earlier that day.
Huh? What do we have here?